Hello again, and welcome to this week's second presentation. This presentation will highlight the most important features for Canvas for our 342 class. What I'd like for us to do now, if possible, is bring up your Canvas page and follow along with this brief outline and pay attention to the left column where it says Home, Vol Books, Course Materials, Syllabus, Announcements, etc. The first thing I would like to call your attention to are the announcements. So the announcements are located both in the left column and on our home page. Once again, if you see an underline, like where it says announcements here on this page, that's a hyperlink. So if you're having difficulties locating the announcements, click on that and it'll take you directly to our weekly announcements. There's already one that I posted about a month ago introducing the class, introducing the lecture that we'll get to here in a moment on the sociological imagination. And what I want us to focus on with that announcement where it says week one readings are available on Canvas, there's a hyperlink there too. So that'll take us to this week's reading, which is not in our textbook, but rather is a PDF. So just click that and it will take you to the reading. The reading can also be found under Files, under Week 1. There's a folder labeled Week 1, and also on the Week 1 module. So there's a lot of repetition. I want us to be crystal clear where to locate our materials. That's why we need to be checking these announcements at least weekly. I would advise you to check it more frequently than that. And also, I'd recommend downloading, if you haven't, the app. So the Canvas app, I think it's a great tool for students at UT in general, but specifically for us in an online asynchronous course. So the announcements are just a quick way to see what we'll cover for the upcoming week. Again, it'll tell what readings we're going to be doing, if there are any assignments due, et cetera, et cetera. The next one, modules. So as of right now, I have modules posted as the homepage. I might change that, but the modules, nevertheless, will always be found in that left column, just under announcements. So each week there will be a new module. So we have two this week, one a kind of general introduction to the course. The second one is week 1. So that's how they'll proceed. Week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 16. This is where you'll find the lectures, the readings, links to videos like this, links to articles, assignments, etc. The modules are extremely important for this course. So your textbook. I briefly mentioned this in the previous presentation, but your textbook is located on the left column where it says Vol Books Course Material, parenthetical vital source. So definitely click on that. Even though we don't have a reading this week from it, click on it now and make sure you have access to it. If not, let me know. It seems like we've worked out most of these bugs, but still sometimes something comes up. And if I can't handle it, we'll get in contact with OIT because we need to have access to this. The other readings will be shared as PDFs under the Files tab and the week's corresponding module. That's the case with this week's reading on the sociological imagination. All right, these discussion fora. What are these? This is something new, so if you've had me before, this is new for me as well. This is my attempt at keeping us engaged, not only with the materials, but hopefully with each other. I'll try to make it interactive so that you and other students are kind of in dialogue regarding the course materials. Since this is an online asynchronous course, I will not be taking roll this semester. Instead, attendance will be demonstrated through your participation in online discussion fora. So where do we locate this? Each week, there will be a discussion forum posted to Canvas pertaining to the week's lesson. The forum's prompt is located in the left column under the discussion tab. I haven't posted it yet. I've developed the questions. I might reduce the number of questions because it was a little bit um, maybe more involved than I wanted, particularly for the first week, but be looking for that later today. Now, this isn't something that you're going to be heavily scrutinized on. This is participation points. This is your opportunity to kind of like casually, in a sense, think through these ideas, explore the concepts, terms, etc., and like this is kind of the trial and error part of the class. So don't be afraid of perfection. Just push yourself, take it seriously, but don't kill yourself. Developing really really in-depth long responses. I would say for most of the prompts, 1 or 2 sentences would be sufficient. Again, on the left column, there's a tab labeled Assignments. Your active learning exercises, critical reading notes, presentation, and midterm will all be located under the Assignments tab. So the active learning exercises I mentioned in the previous presentation are kind of like quizzes. The critical reading notes are essentially annotated bibliographies. The one presentation is just a brief summary of a reading, and the midterm is our big exam. I'll talk about all of this in the coming weeks. If you have specific concerns or questions, let me know. But we have quite a bit of terrain to cover before we get into the active learning exercises, critical reading notes, presentation, and midterms. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me and be looking for our first lecture on C. Wright Mills and the sociological imagination.